CSA is a direct-to-consumer business. That means that you have customers and you serve them directly. There's no middleman, and you have total control over your pricing and your product. It gives a farmer a lot of control and flexibility, but also those benefits come with a good amount of responsibility. In this video, we're going to talk about customer service and education in the CSA space. We will help you understand what it means to run a human-centered business, as well as the customer expectations that come along with calling yourself a CSA farm. We'll talk about the importance of CSA education, the weekly CSA newsletter, and what this all looks like at a few different farms. We'll share some strategies for outsourcing different aspects of this work. At the end of the video, we'll ask you to evaluate whether or not customer service and education is something you want to prioritize as you start your farm business. Let's talk about what it means to be and run a human-centered business like a CSA. It means that everything you grow, everything you send out, and everything you do is for your customers. You are serving them directly. Of all the ways a farmer might try to sell their vegetables, CSA requires the most direct connection with the customer, and therefore the most customer service. In practice, this means that in addition to growing your veggies, managing the administration and financials of your farm, and marketing your business, you are also going to have to deal directly with your customers when they have a question or when something goes wrong. So when a member calls or emails because they have a problem with their share, it's really important to think through how you might react. Will you take the time to come up with a solution and make things right? Or is it more likely you will let that email or voicemail get buried and never respond? Or worse, is there a chance that you might put the onus on the customer and defer the blame? It's really important, no matter how overwhelmed you are, to try and provide a good customer experience and deal with any problems and questions that arise in a kind, patient, and timely fashion. Good customer service is what gets your members to return year after year, and also what gets them to recommend your CSA to their friends. Bad customer service will likely bring about dissatisfied customers and a bad reputation for both you and possibly the CSA industry at large. Focusing on your customers and giving them prompt responses to their questions is an essential part of customer service, but in a lot of ways, it's just the beginning. Proactive customer service is what you should be striving for as a CSA farmer. This means anticipating your customers' needs and providing them with answers and solutions before they even ask. This is what keeps people coming back: great veggies and exceptional customer service. Because CSA can be hard for the average customer. Most people today don't cook, so they may need some sort of support in knowing how to use your product. And if you're not doing home delivery for your CSA members, the whole pickup process for CSA can be super confusing. It's important for CSA farmers to remember that CSA has a steep learning curve, not only for the farmer, but also for the customer. What is a drop site? How does pickup work? When can I expect my box? Do I take it home or do I leave it at the site? These are all common questions a new CSA member may ask, not to mention the more product-specific questions like, what do I do with all these veggies? And what is that weird yellow thing that looks like a squash but has a hard exterior? Proactive, educational customer service will help your CSA members have a great experience and save you a lot of work during the busy season answering repetitive questions. Like with everything in CSA, there is a huge spectrum of how farms handle customer service and educating their CSA members. One of the main proactive education tools most farms choose to use is a weekly CSA newsletter. Generally, it goes out each week with the CSA box and has essential information about how to use the produce being received. It can include things like storage information for the produce, vegetable IDs, recipes, and news or photos from the farm. It's also a great place to share announcements or invite members to events. A newsletter can be a really great touch point with your CSA member each week, especially if they aren't picking up at your farm or a market and you don't get to connect with them in person very often. Plus, it's a great way for your members to know that you support them and have their back through the CSA journey. We've included a couple of nice examples of newsletters we love in the resources for this video. CSA newsletters vary a ton in design and style of distribution. Traditionally, farms printed their newsletters and put them right in the CSA box. Some farms still choose to do this, but increasingly newsletters are going online, being sent out through an email service provider like MailChimp or posted on farm websites as a blog post. Other farmers make nicely designed PDFs and attach them to an email sent directly from the farm. It doesn't really matter how you provide these resources as long as you do provide something. The CSA Newsletter is a really great place to start when it comes to providing amazing educational content and resources for your members. But a lot of CSA farms are starting to go above and beyond the traditional method. Here's some examples of great ways other farmers are educating and engaging with their customers.
One example of a system I created on our farm was to make our harvest list available on Sunday evenings in anticipation for the Thursday deliveries. Even though our expected harvest list was subject to change as we moved through the week, a best guess was something that our members really appreciated as they did their shopping and meal planning. The toughest part of the process for me was getting our harvest manager on board with letting me share this list after the Sunday field walk, because they didn't want to let members down if plans changed. But it ended up being a great resource for members and saved time all around.
Hi, my name is Corinna Bench, and I'm one of the farmers at Shared Legacy Farms, which is a 400-member certified organic CSA farm out in Elmore, Ohio. My husband and I have been running this farm since 2008. We started out with 12 customers and doubled in size every year until we reached the magic number of 400 people. I'm here to tell you why we started a private Facebook group for our CSA members. Initially, we just did it because we wanted to have a place where all of our people could come together and share their recipes or show pictures of some of the things they were making with our food. But over time, we began to use it more as a platform for teaching. So I would show up, turn on my camera and do a live video on how to cook kohlrabi, and I'd show them how to store it and how to chop it and handle it. Over time, we created a huge, vast library of tutorials for just about every single vegetable that we grow. And we had customers coming back every week because they wanted to know, what's she going to teach this week? What's going to be the new content release in the group this week? We also found great success in doing a live video unboxing. This is actually the most popular content that we create in our Facebook group. It's especially powerful in the first 4 to 5 weeks of the season. This is when my community manager opens up her CSA box live on camera and takes everything out and walks them through exactly what's in the box and how to use it. This is especially valuable for our rookies who don't even know how to identify some of the things that are in their box, and they get ideas. They feel empowered and they're not so intimidated by the box contents. So that's been a really key piece that we keep in place every single year. I think the best part about the Facebook group, though, is that it inspires my customers. Sometimes we have new members who don't know what to do with their box contents, right? They open it up and they feel overwhelmed, or they just feel locked up and frozen. I don't know what to make with this. And they can go into the Facebook group and they can see pictures of recipes and ideas people are sharing. A lot of times they're kind of new and unusual, and it just unlocks them. It makes them go, oh, I never thought of that. And they get all excited and they try it and it works, and they feel like a success in the kitchen, and their spouse loves what they're making, and they're getting better and better at becoming a home chef. And they feel like, I know how to cook with my food now. And that success story is what makes them feel awesome about our product. And that's what makes us look good as a farmer too.
My name is Tenzin Botsford, and my wife Stacy and I own and operate Red Door Family Farm. This is us here. We are in North Central Wisconsin in a town called Athens, and we run about 130 member CSA program. We're trying to connect with members in a more meaningful, lasting way than just through a newsletter and, the occasional email. And then we also wanted to address this idea of kitchen intimidation, being worried that you're not going to have enough time and skill to effectively use what shows up in your CSA box. So the first thing that we did was we decided that something that was realistic for us in season was to make 2 different videos each week of the CSA. So the first one was, we just call it Unpacking the Box, and basically pull everything out of the box, talk about what it is, what's maybe unique about it this week. We geared it toward people who would be new to the CSA. It would include stuff like removing the tops from your turnips and storing them so that the turnips stay fresh, but also that, hey, you can use these turnip tops and they're great, scrambled in eggs, and all these little tips and tricks that we were already putting in the newsletter to a large extent. So this just gave another format to basically give a lot of the same information, but it's done in a more personal way. Then we did the same thing with a recipe of the week. And again, there, the key was really to keep it simple. You don't have to follow this recipe to the nines. You can really just have some fun with it. And if you've got some leftover carrots from last week, you can chop those up and throw them in and that sort of thing. Anybody who goes through our website can just look at that and kind of follow along, right? So if somebody's wondering if CSA is right for them or wondering if our CSA is right for them, they can get to know us, get to know the product. So it's very much about reducing barriers and hurdles and intimidation to this whole idea of signing up for a box of vegetables every week, all season. We were really just trying to make it user-friendly.
Though we believe education is an essential part of creating a good experience for CSA members, that doesn't mean all of the responsibility of educating needs to be on the farmers' plates. For some, providing great educational content all summer long, while also managing a highly intensive production farm, just isn't possible. These farmers have discovered that ultimately one of the two will suffer and that they'd rather collaborate or outsource much of the work. I know of several farms who have a worker share style arrangement with CSA members who are experienced with CSA and cooking a lot of the produce. And these members research great CSA specific recipes and are responsible for plugging those into the CSA newsletter. Other farms outsource the newsletter work to someone who specializes in these services or pay an employee to do some of the CSA education. Another great option is to batch the majority of the CSA education work into the winter or early spring seasons. Creating newsletter templates, writing veggie IDs and storage tips, or even finding great recipes can be fun when time is more abundant. Creating master documents to pull this information from during the busy season can be a seriously great strategy for those who enjoy educating their members but can never find enough time to do it during the main growing season. The key takeaway of this lesson is the fact that CSA is still a human-centered business. Much of the work that we do has to do with our customers. We support them, we answer their questions, we grow their food, and we design systems with them in mind. We often take time to educate them on our products. And as a small or beginning CSA farm, it's generally going to be you or your partner doing this customer service work. So you need to think long and hard about whether this is something you want to do.